Hello everyone, and welcome to this tutorial on how to use Pronunciator. First of all, what is Pronunciator? Pronunciator is an online language learning resource that is similar to that of Rosetta Stone. You may already be a little bit familiar with Rosetta Stone from some of the television commercials. Maybe you have used it yourself. But if you are not at all familiar with Rosetta Stone, if you are a beginning language learner, if you have little to no experience studying a language, fear not, because Pronunciator is very user-friendly. So let's go ahead and get started. Now here we are, as you can see, at the library's web page. Now, this is the home page for the library's website, okay? And take a look at the address bar up at the top of your screen. You'll see it says here portjefflibrary.org. That is the address for the official website for the Port Jefferson Free Library. You're most likely already familiar with it. But if you would like to bookmark this website, or if you would like to search for it yourself, just make sure you bookmark this address here or enter that into your web browser, portjefflibrary.org, and it will take you straight here. Now, notice the menu up at the top of the screen. This is a static menu. It is always here. It never changes. All right, and I just want you to notice the tab here in this part of the screen, the Adults tab. Notice that when we move our cursor over that tab, a little drop-down menu appears. And from that little drop-down menu, we want to choose Language and Citizenship. Okay? So we first go to the library's website, portjefflibrary.org. We look for the Adults tab, and we choose Language and Citizenship. And here we are at the Language and Citizenship main screen. This is where you go to for resources on if you are studying to become an American citizen. If you are learning English, we have some resources there specifically for English language learners. If you have questions or concerns regarding immigration, we have the immigration hotline here. It's very helpful. But for our purposes today, we want to look for the button here that says Learn a Language. Let's go ahead and click on that. And here we are at the Learn a Language screen. As you can see, we have the Pronunciator login buttons here for your convenience. Now, you may be saying, why are there two buttons? One says Login and one says Register. What's the difference? Well, with Pronunciator, you can experience or use Pronunciator one of two ways. You can dive right in and start learning, or you can create a simple free account with them, which allows you to track your progress within a course or courses. You can take more than one course with Pronunciator. Now, perhaps you need to show progress in a course for work purposes or for school, or just because you like seeing statistics about your progress, in which case having a free account to follow that is very helpful. But maybe you have no need for that information, or maybe you just don't want to fuss with logging in one day, or you can't find your login information, or for whatever reason you just want to start learning. You can go right into Pronunciator without having to do any of that. The free account is optional. So let's first explore the Register button here. Click on that, and this takes us to the registration login screen for Pronunciator. Now let's start over here. Notice the blue Register button. This is the button that you would click to register or create an account with Pronunciator. First thing you do is enter your library card number here in this box. Now, your library card number or barcode is the long string of numbers located on the back of your card. You've probably heard library staff ask you many times for your card number or barcode number. That is the number to which we are referring. So if you don't know your number or you don't know where your card is, feel free to go ahead and pause this video, dig up your card, make sure it's handy. You will need it to get into Pronunciator. But for our purposes today, we're going to use the library's card number. Just be sure that when you go in, you use your own card number. So if we wanted to create a free account, we enter our card number, click the blue register button, and Pronunciator will help you create that simple free account. Once you've done so, the next time you visit this screen here, let's just jump back to the library's website, and we click the register button. It will take you back into that screen. You will have created a student name for your account and a password. You can disregard the entry code field here. You don't need to be concerned with that right now. For your basic needs, you can just go ahead and log in with your student name and password, and then just click login. Now, once you've created that free account, you can either go in through the register screen, the login button is in there like we just noticed, or what we've done is created a little shortcut for that login screen. If you just want to go right in there, you can just click login. See, we're already logged in, so that's why it takes us right in there. You'll be asked to enter your student name and password. There is also an option there for if you forgot your password, something that's very handy. It happens to all of us. You can just click that forgot password link and Pronunciator will help you reset your password. So let's go back into the register button, and I just want you to notice the green access, instant access button here. If you do not want to create a free account, or as we mentioned before, if you don't want to log into your account or you don't remember how to log in and you just want to start learning, you can enter your card number and then click Instant Access, and that will take you directly into Pronunciator. So you can go ahead and do that and just jump right in and start learning. You can do that if you have an account or not. It's very quick and easy. And so we have both options here on the website for you to go in. All right, so let's say that we already logged in, and let's just go ahead and click the login button. And here we are at the main screen for Pronunciator. Every time you go into Pronunciator, this is the screen that you will land on. Now you see two boxes, one that says I speak and one that says I want to learn. What Pronunciator does is it allows you to change the interface language, meaning it allows you to change the language in which the instructions are presented to you in Pronunciator. For example, if you are a native Spanish speaker and you are studying German, you can change the user language, the instructional language of the Pronunciator system to teach you German through Spanish. So let's see what that looks like. I'm going to click on the box that says I speak. Okay, and this big box of languages appears. These are all of the languages that you can learn in Pronunciator, which is quite an exhaustive list. So let's stay with the Spanish example, and let's say we're a Mexican Spanish speaker. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Mexican Spanish, and as you can see, the instructional language changes to Spanish. So when I want to choose the language that I want to learn, I click that box, it pops up, and notice all of the languages are now printed in Spanish. So if I'm learning German, here is the Spanish word for German, Alemán. I'm going to click on that, and it takes me into Pronunciator with all of the instructions on the screen given to me in Spanish. So let's go back and let's say we are an English speaker and let's say we are learning Italian. So when I click on Italian, it takes me to these three options. You can learn through Pronunciator three different ways: daily lessons, the main course, or learning guides and more. What's the difference between these three? Daily lessons are short lessons if you're short on time. If you are a busy person, as many of us are, or perhaps you don't want to commit an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours every day to learning a language, maybe that's not your style, maybe you just don't have the time. Daily lessons are a great bite-sized way of getting a little bit of language learning into your day. So before work, in the morning, on a coffee break, during your lunch hour, after work, you can plug in a little bit of language learning and it's very easy. So let's go ahead and click on daily lessons. It asks us what our skill level is: beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So let's say we are a beginner. And you can see the calendar up here. We are starting today, which is July 21st, 2022. And you just click on the little graduation cap right here to start learning. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to hear the audio on your end, but Pronunciator will actually read to you the instructions on the screen. And let's see if it seems, oh, here we go. Okay, let's go back a little bit.
Dov'è l'ingresso? Uscita?
So it's teaching us some vocabulary.
In the next few minutes, you will both understand these vocabulary words and be able to speak them yourself. Let's start by taking one at a time. Here's how to say entrance. First, just listen. Ingresso.
Now we'll just pause it here. Hopefully you were able to hear that audio. But take a look at the time right here. You can see this lesson is only just over 6 minutes long. That's a super short lesson, really quick and easy. And if you notice here underneath these little controls, this little circle with the 10 in it means that you can jump back 10 seconds in the audio, in the lesson. Maybe you missed something or you wanted to replay something. If you click that little button, you can jump back 10 seconds. Over here on the right, maybe you jump back a little too far or you want to skip ahead a little bit. Click the button that says 10 and this little forward arrow here, it jumps you ahead 10 seconds. When you hit the play button again, it will start playing. Down below, you'll notice this little time link here. You can slow down the speed of the audio, which is very helpful for a beginner when you're trying to grasp all the subtle nuances and sounds of a language. You can slow that audio down, and then whenever you want to, just click this little button and you can bring it back to normal speed. You can download the lesson. If you click this button here, it will let you download the lesson. So we're not going to do that today. We'll just show you how to do that. Now, you can learn 2 different ways in the daily lessons with audio. You can take quizzes.
Dov'è?
Listening comprehension, vocabulary, phrase match, reading comprehension, audio match, translation. There are so many different ways of practicing with the language, all within the daily lesson format. Up at the top right-hand corner, notice this little menu here. This helps you log out of Pronunciator. This is your little help button, your settings. You can change your settings here. You can have the native speaker repeat the phrase multiple times. Maybe you like to hear it a few times before you move on. You can change that. Otherwise, it defaults to 1. Okay. Over here, you can change the volume of the speaker. And this is your home screen, which will take you back to Pronunciator's home screen. So let's go back in and let's stay with that Italian example. Now the next learning option is the main course. This is where the meat of the learning is. There are drills, quizzes, audio lessons. You can even learn using movies and music. There is so much content here. So if we click on that, it then asks us for language learning levels. So if we choose this, then we are going to choose what language learning level we want to be at. Do we want to stick with core vocabulary, main vocab, powerful phrases? What are the phrases? What are the expressions that will be the most effective, the most useful? Perhaps we want to work on our conversational skills. Maybe we want to zero in on verbs, very useful verbs. Perhaps we want to work on creating sentences. If you take a look down here, you'll see there's even more content. There is learning content available for job interviews. You can use movies. See the little movie icon, the little film icon here? You can learn Italian with movies, music, poetry, words on the street. They give you so many different options, so many different learning paths that you can study with. So perhaps we're going to start with, let's try core vocabulary, main vocab. If we click on that,
mela,
see, that starts us with the audio. We can change the speed of the audio down here. You can turn that off. Maybe you don't want to or don't need to have the native speaker talking to you. You can turn that off. We're over here, you'll see we're at number 1 of the first slide. Up at the top here, you see a lot of menu options. You're already familiar with some of these up here. This is the logout button. This is your search button. Your stats, you can see what your progress is. Your help screen, settings, you can change the volume. There's our home screen button, and you can also bookmark a page. We jumped right into core vocabulary, so if you want to change to a different category, you just click that little menu, that little drop-down arrow, and you can jump to a different category. But we're right now in the category of core vocabulary, and we've started off alphabetically with agriculture. But if you click on that drop-down menu, you can see there is quite a lot here in terms of learning. So maybe we want to change to clothing, let's say. If we choose clothing,
stivale,
it will switch to that subcategory within core vocabulary. There are some different options here for learning in the main course. Postcards, which are a lot of fun. They show you beautiful postcards of places from around the country or countries where the language you're learning is spoken. So it's kind of like a little bit of a travelogue while you're learning. Really, it's a lot of fun. You get the native language here, the phonetic sounds of the language spelled out here, and the English right underneath it. You can learn using videos.
per piacere, per piacere,
Drills, quizzes. Here we have all these different quiz options. Using audio. There's even a phrase book that you can download that you can print out and save and use whenever you want. They have also radio as well. Whoop, there's a little bit of music there. Okay, so that's a little bit of a broad look at the main course. If we go back to language learning levels, we'll take a look at one other category. Let's say we're a little weak in creating sentences and we want to strengthen that skill. So if we click on that, the screen
io
should
sono
look
d'accordo con te,
familiar to you. We're in the creating sentences category, and within that category, there are all these other options for us to practice. So there's quite a lot of options for you to create your own learning path within Pronunciator. So let's go back to the main screen. And the last form of learning is the learning guides and more. This is probably where a lot of you will want to start learning. These are where this section is where you'll find the structured courses. There are 8-week courses, city tours, there's interactive grammar, and of course a lot more. Pronunciator always has a lot more. So if you are new to language learning and you want a little bit more hand-holding before you strike out on your own, try the learning guides and see how you do. If you like to learn with a lot of structure, choose the learning guides. If you really like to create your own learning path, you're very hands-on, try the main course with all those categories that we just explored. If you just want to dip your toe in a language, you're not sure if you want to pursue that particular language or how much of a commitment you want to make, try the daily lessons. Learning guides they are great for people who need a little bit more of a structured type of course around you. If you feel more comfortable in a classroom learning environment, you might like the learning guides more. So if we click on that, take a look at all of the options here. Now, as you can see, there is quite a lot. Italian is a very popular language. There is a large amount of content here, but it's good to point out that not every language has this same level of content. Let's jump back to a language like, let's say, Polish. Okay. If we select Polish and we choose the main guides, one little side note here, you'll notice another option has appeared, personalized courses. Once Pronunciator gets to know you, you can create your own personalized course. You can carve out your own customized learning path. That's probably good for you once you've gotten your feet wet with Pronunciator, or you're more of an advanced learner and you really want to customize your learning path and create a specific learning path and you really want to design your own. Go ahead and choose personalized courses. But if you are a beginner, I recommend not doing that. I would recommend either using the daily lessons, which are a quick dose of language learning, or maybe the learning guides, a structured course that guides you in a specific designed learning pathway. So let's go into the learning guides and more. And you can see right away there is a lot less content for Polish than there is for Italian in the learning guides and more section. So the more popular or the more widely spoken the language, or the more widely studied the language, there's more content to it. So just keep that in mind. If you may say, well, why don't I see the same amount as Italian? Just because there is all of this content in one doesn't mean it's in another. So you're not missing something. It just they don't have it yet. Hopefully at some point they will. But just keep an eye on that. If you choose another language and you say, well, I took that course in the other language and why isn't it here? Not every language is the same. So let's just go back to our screen, our main screen. Let's go back into Italian. Learning guides and more. There's so much here. There is grammar reference. You can tour cities. You can look at essential phrases, travel prep. That's a great option for if you're planning a trip and you need to get enough language in you that you feel more comfortable about traveling through Italy. This is an 8-week course that is designed specifically for travelers. They have beginner, high beginner, low intermediate, high intermediate. They have advanced courses, even a healthcare course. So there is so much here. So let's take a look at the travel prep course. Okay. And
welcome to the 8-week travel prep course.
I don't know if you can hear the audio from your end, but Pronunciator will narrate the instructions on the screen. All right, it tells you what the course is about. And you can pause it, of course, if you want to pause that. The arrow over here to the right takes you through to the next screen. As you can see here up at the top, there is our main Pronunciator menu. And the course menu is up at the top here. We're in the 8-week travel prep course. You can learn using listening, flashcards, drills, and quizzes. The course will walk you through it. They will take you through to the next point, so you don't have to worry about figuring that out on your own. So if we arrow to the next screen,
Ciao.
you'll see here is the Italian, here is the phonetics of the word that you're saying, and the English word. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see here you can change the speed of the narrator, of the native speaker. You can mute that narration. Maybe you don't need to have the audio on, or you don't want to, or it bothers you, or for whatever reason. You can turn that off. And you'll practice going through these slides here.
Sal.
So if we arrow through,
Buonasera.
let's skip through just so you can see
Arri-
what it's like at the end.
Okay. Do you
And as you can see, Pronunciator really holds your hand pretty well through this course. You can't really get lost. They show you exactly where to go. So this is an 8-week travel prep course. Again, very good for
Ciao.
if you are just need to learn the language that's typically used by tourists, by visitors to Italy or to Switzerland perhaps, where they speak Italian as well. So you really get a focused look at language that is most relevant to you. So courses that teach you how to say pineapple right at the very beginning. I don't know how often you'd be talking about pineapples in Italy, but if you notice here, that type of vocabulary isn't in the travel prep course. They are going to focus on teaching you language that will be most useful to you as a visitor to Italy. So this is a really great course to check out. Now, if you are maybe you're not traveling, but you just want to learn Italian just because you love the language, you love the culture, maybe you have Italian ancestry, or you just love learning languages, try the beginner course. You're just starting out.
Welcome to begin.
This is the beginner course that will take you from basic, start from scratch, beginner. If you have little to no experience in the language, start with the beginner course. See where you are. If you have some experience in a language, try the beginner course and just get your bearings. Maybe you are a high beginner, or which is otherwise known as a false beginner. You may already have a little bit of Italian under your belt, and maybe the beginner course is too easy for you. Feel free to jump into a higher level course. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you feel like you're being slowed down by a course level, go ahead and jump ahead. You don't have to start from the beginning. So if we arrow through the course,
Io sono.
it starts telling us how to say I am, io sono.
Tu sei.
Tu sei, you are. So it's teaching you basic vocabulary. May not necessarily be relevant to a traveler. This is someone who is a typical start from scratch beginner learning a language, and kind of like what you might encounter in a typical course. Okay, so this is a little bit of a look at
Lui è.
a basic course.
Lei è.
Starting us out with the simplest things. I am, you are, he is, she is, they were, we are. And it walks you through that way. Again, you can't really get lost. Pronunciator will walk you through the course in the order in which you're supposed to move through it. So they really give you a lot of help. It's very user friendly. It's like we mentioned in the beginning, it is similar to Rosetta Stone. It has pictures, it has video, it has great audio. You can practice your pronunciation, and Pronunciator will tell you how far off the mark you are, so you can get an idea of where you are in terms of how accurate your pronunciation is. So it really has a lot of options for you. It has a lot of learning pathways. As we can see, it's a very user-friendly system. And best of all, it's free. It's free through the library system. This is one of the many great resources that your library card gives you access to. And Pronunciator is available all the time, 24 hours a day. So you can use Pronunciator whether the library is open or not. Anytime you want to learn, it is always there for you. It's a great resource. It has so much content in it, and it's just really an all-around great resource, whether you are a beginner learning a language or if you are a super advanced speaker and you're looking to bust out of that intermediate plateau and level up your skills. Maybe you're preparing for a business trip, or you are working in the healthcare industry. They even have a healthcare course for you. And so it's just a great resource that, as we just mentioned, it's free. Can't be better than free. Can't beat that, right? So if you have any questions, that about wraps it up for our tutorial. If you have any questions, please let us know at the Adult Services Desk. You can give us a call at 631 473 0022. You can email us at the Adult Services Desk. The address is adref@portjefflibrary.org. And you can also always send us a chat on our website. Let's just skip back over to the website here. There is always our little chat box here. If you just click on that, you can send us a chat during operating hours, and a librarian will help you. You can also always send us a chat, even if we are closed. We'll respond to you the next time we reopen, and we'll respond to your message there. So that about wraps it up. That is our tutorial on how to get started and learn with Pronunciator. We hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Okay, thank you so much.